Hey, good morning, everyone. All right. We're going to let these guys come down and view this slide. It's not a slideshow. It's a little thing at the end. That's all it is. But you don't get to see a lot up here, though. You know, when you're behind the scenes up here, you miss out. So I said, hey, come on down. All right. Hey, I cannot believe that this is already the last Sunday in September. I can't believe that, the summer just flew by and we're already back into our fall routines, and it feels like you haven't even missed a beat, right? Like we're right back into the mix of things, and the days go by so quickly, the weeks go by so quickly, it's hard to remember what you did last week. And it's hard for, people to remember what they did last night. What'd you have for dinner last night? Quick. See? Well, last night was kind of a fun night for us because we actually got tickets to Hiroshima, and we watched them perform at the Crest Theater. And there's some of you here that were there last night, yeah. And they did a wonderful job. That was the first time I've ever seen them live, and I really enjoyed the show. So that was something I remembered, so that's good, huh? But it's funny because you don't get to choose how quickly time passes by, right? That's one of those things that we do not get to choose. What if you did get to choose when time went by quickly or slowly? Wouldn't that be interesting? Especially when you're young, right? And you go, Mom, can Joey come over to play? And you're like, oh, Joey, that boy. So you always say something like, he can come over for 30 minutes. It's some arbitrary time because we have to get ready. For what, Mom? Just never mind that. So you watch the clock for 30 minutes, right? And you mark it, you don't even know how to tell time, but when it starts there, it'll end up on the 6. But somehow when you start playing, that 30 minutes just goes by in the blink of an eye, doesn't it? And then you wish at that time that you can control time and that you had a choice in slowing time down. And on the opposite side, when you're in the dentist office, right? And there's, sorry dentists that are in the here. But you're sitting there going, and you're like, you're like, and it's only a couple minutes, but it seems like forever, huh? And you wish that you could speed that time up. You wish you had a choice. Let's make that time go faster. But we don't get to choose. And Buddhism teaches us that there are so many things in our lives that we don't get to choose. Some of the most impactful things in our lives are left completely up to chance. You don't get to choose your ethnicity. You don't get to choose whether you're born male or female. You don't get to choose how tall you're going to grow, obviously. Right? I would have chose that a little different. No, it's okay. And you don't get to choose your parents. It's obvious, right? What an impact your parents have on shaping your life, your parents and your guardians or your caretakers, whoever the people were that raised you. You don't get to choose them, and they don't get to choose you either, really. It goes both ways, but that's such a huge thing that impacts your life, right? But there are many things that you can choose. There's a lot of things you can choose, right? You can choose what to wear, right? You can choose what you want to order at the restaurant or something. You can choose what TV show you're going to watch. You can choose what song you want to listen to on your iPod of 5,000 songs, right? You can choose that. More importantly, you can choose how you want to act, right? At school or wherever you go. And you can choose what you want to say. But I think one of the most valuable and important things that you are able to choose, that you are able to make a choice about, one of the most important things, and think about this for a minute because I think it's really huge. The one thing you get to choose, no matter what is happening around you, around the world, or in your life, the one thing you do get to choose is how you will view the world. How you will view the world. This is one of the most powerful things in your life that you get to choose. And this is what we talk about when we talk about the Eightfold Path and we talk about right view. The right view. How you're going to view the world. Chances are if you approach something with a negative viewpoint, there's a higher chance you have a negative experience, right? But if you come in with that positive attitude and that positive viewpoint, it will more likely lead to a positive experience. And we know that simply changing your view cannot guarantee an outcome. Having a positive view will definitely benefit you in the long run. I was watching these YouTube videos and I saw this motivational speaker. His name is Sean Stevenson. And I remember I'm quoting him, and he said, never believe in a prediction that doesn't empower you. Never believe in a prediction that doesn't empower you. That's about your view, right? That's about believing in how the outcome's going to be. If someone's going to be Debbie Downer on you and say, that'll never work, why are you going to do that, don't try. No, I will never believe in a prediction that doesn't empower me. So your viewpoint is what guides and drives you every day. So it's essential that your viewpoint is clear and true, and it's not clouded by your ego and your emotions. This is what Buddhism teaches us, right? To view, use your eyes, not your eye, right? These eyes, not this eye. Okay? So you got to try to remove the ego, and it's not an easy thing to do, especially when it's something personal. Oh, so here's a little example of ego, okay, and having the right view. And my wife will attest to this. We were at the grocery store, and I remember we're shopping around. I have this all written down, but forget that. I'll just tell it to you. Okay. So we're at the grocery store, and I remember we're shopping around and blah, blah, blah. And I said, hey, look, we only have one daughter, Ellie, and then we're Asian, so we're lactose intolerant, of course. So a half a gallon of milk is good enough to get us through, right? Because milk expires, right? So a half a gallon will do our family just fine. I see other families there, they got like 6 gallons in the cart, but we're like, we're half gallon family, we're okay. So I'm looking around, and of course it's all pricing strategy, right? Like a half gallon was like $2.50, and I went, oh, Janet, look, a whole gallon's only like, $3. A whole gallon's $3, right? I said, dude, that's way cheaper. I'm a math master. If $2.50 for a half gallon, that would be like $5 for 1 gallon. So if this 1 gallon's $3, that's a $2 savings, right? So I said, man, that's way cheaper. I go, dude, we should definitely buy the gallon, because even if we drink only half, we throw the other half away, it's still cheaper, right? Oh, you guys are smarter than me. Okay. All right. I thought I was going to get a lot more agreement. That's not the way. This did not work out the right way. Okay. So, me, stubborn, ego, my view, I go, what do you, and Janet's all, what? No. And I go, what do you mean no? I go, it's $2 savings. You save $2, I go, if we only drink half, even if it expires, we throw the other half away, it's still less. And she goes, no. Well, clearly you all got, I have a whole explanation here, but I guess we can just skip ahead. But the point is, I was so stuck in I made the conclusion, right? I made the conclusion, and I was so set in my mind on the reality that I saw as what I perceived to be real and right. And clearly I was not right. And I'm sure there are many more occasions. This is the only one I'm going to tell in public. So maybe if you can fire up that little guy. This is going to lead me into this little poem that I found on the internet. And I'm sure many of you who are my Facebook friends have seen this already. But I'm going to share it with you anyway. And you can double click the start from the beginning slide. And let's see if it works. Okay, good. Let's see if that little thing disappears. All right. Let's see if this works. It's not that bad of a poem. It's okay. It's just a little poem, so you don't have to worry. Okay, it's a little poem. But you saw the title. So if you've seen this before, just pretend like you've never seen it and be at the end, okay? So this is a little poem, and it's titled The Worst Day Ever, and I tried to look up the originator on the internet, and I believe I found the name right there. Okay? Worst day ever. Today was the absolute worst day ever. And don't try to convince me that there's something good in every day. Because when you take a closer look, the world is a pretty evil place. Even if some goodness does shine through once in a while, satisfaction and happiness don't last. And it's not true that it's all in the mind and heart, because true happiness can be attained only if one's surroundings are good. It's not true that good exists. I'm sure you can agree that the reality creates my attitude. It's beyond my control. You'll never in a million years hear me say, today was a good day. Why would I? That's the most depressing thing you've ever seen, right? What? I seemed like a cheerful guy, didn't I? And now it's like, All right, let's read this from the ending to the beginning. and see what I really felt. Today was a good day. And you'll never in a million years hear me say, it's all beyond my control. My attitude creates the reality. I'm sure you can agree that it's not true that good exists only if one's surroundings are good. True happiness can be attained because it's all in the mind and heart. And it's not true that satisfaction and happiness don't last. Some goodness does shine through once in a while, even if the world is a pretty evil place. Because when you take a closer look, there's something good in every day. And don't try to convince me that today was the absolute worst day ever. Right? You can turn that off, Ellie. Thank you. Have you guys seen that before? Really? And this is really what inspired my entire talk for today when I read this poem. Because you see, the way in which you view something has the potential to change its entire meaning if you can look at it in a different way. And this is what Buddhism teaches us. It teaches us to be sure that we are seeing the world as it truly is and not just through our egocentric view. So in times of conflict, take a step back and realize that there may be some merit in other viewpoints that you may not have considered. And try to genuinely look at those viewpoints without your ego to see if they have a point. You don't always have to agree, but at least control your ego enough to leave room for the possibility of another valid perspective. So it's all about realizing that your way with the milk may not be the only way, and if you're truly honest with yourself, you will open up to the possibility that your way may not be the best way. Please join me in closing Gassho. We do not always have a choice with many things in our lives, and we cannot choose to avoid suffering in our lives. But the one thing we can choose is how we view our life. Will you choose to live a life that can set aside your ego and see the world as it truly is? Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Naman Butsu. Naman Butsu.